Hi everyone, this is Daniel. Today I'm going to show you how to create a corner tower on a square building, and where the corner tower is completely centered on the corner. In this example, I'm showing a round tower, but you could also do this with a square tower, or you could have a hallway leading out to another tower or a wall, whatever you'd want. But I'm going to show you how to get at least to this step. And I'm also going to show at the end how to then take this floor that you've got and rotate it back around so that you can reposition it to any corner anywhere within your build. And that's I'll be showing that here. There's some steps we've got to check first, mainly to make things a lot easier in doing this. And if you're on a build server, these things are probably already set. So the first thing is to make sure you have disable structure placement collision turned on. If you're on single player, you can find that under game rules, structure, and then it's at the bottom of the list there. And what this does, it allows players to place structures that clip into terrain. And this is what really helps us get a nice looking build. It meshes the pieces together very well and allows us to place things that we normally couldn't place. If you're on a server, just ask your server admin to turn that on. But like I said, if you're on a build server, they probably already have this enabled. And that setting again was disable structure placement collision. It should be turned on, or should be true. Now the other setting that we want to check for, and again this is just to make things easier, you have to use ASR to do this, which is Arkitect Structure Remastered. And the reason that we need that is to allow for 15-degree snap points. You might be able to figure out how to do this with vanilla, and I'd love to see somebody who's made that happen. I'm sure it can be done, but I didn't try to do it because I've always got ASR available. But with ASR, you want to make sure that there's some server settings that are set, and these are not necessary, they just make it easier. So what you do is your server admin or yourself, even a single player, you can go to any ASR piece and just engage with it, and then select ASR server settings. And here you can set all of the settings for the server for this mod. And I'm going to scroll down. It's near the bottom. We want to look for parts are foundations and make sure that's set to true. Default is false, so you'll need to change it. The other thing that you ought to check for, and again this is not required, it just makes things a heck of a lot easier, is additional support distance in foundations. I would just leave that at the default of 0. Both of these things will save us the hassle of building pillars everywhere to make sure that every part of the build is supported. All right, a few other things just to give you a look at this. These pillars right here are settler. They're from the CKF mod, and you could use any pillar you want to cap off the ends of the walls. Here, I'll show what it looks like when you take it away. So you have this jagged edge, and you can use these pillars as a good way to cover it up. And then on the outside, when you're looking in, if you're inside the room, this is what this corner of the room would look like. And I did this edge so you can see what the CKF interface looks like. And then the glass is there to see exactly how everything's fitting together. And from up above, you can get a better view of how everything just fits. Okay, what I'm going to do now is tear this down and go back to the very beginning so you can see how all of this is done. Okay, just to show you the pieces that I'm using for this this demonstration, I've got ASR stone foundations, ASR wood glass quarter ceilings, ASR metal fence foundation, ASR metal glass quarter wall, and then CKF cellular pillars, and CKF keep quarter walls, and CKF keep walls. So I just start by setting a foundation where I want it in the world. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that metal fence foundation, and I'm going to find a position so that after it's placed, the level of the floor is just barely above the current level of this floor. And sometimes you can get a better level by going to a different side. Notice how the fence foundation changes its level relative to the foundation. And you can also do it from this angle. And sometimes if you can't get the level you want, like here that's too high. If I put down my quarter ceiling, that's way too high. It's not leveling up. Then you could actually continue this on up, a mountain or however far you needed to go, a hill, until you could get that level that you need. So fortunately for this demonstration, I've got this spot on the beach where just placing it, I'll have a good position. Now what I did is I placed it 45 degrees offset from this foundations wall. And that would be the reference angle, I believe, is 45 here, so it's 135. And if you go to the other side, yeah, it's the 45 there. And again, the other direction you could go is this 90, or depending on how it's snapping, it could be 45. So any of those could be used to get the level that you need. But it does have to be 45 degrees. Okay, now what I'm going to do is snap a quarter wall to this end here, right where the corner is to that foundation. And I'll go ahead and put the new meshed ceiling there. And then I'll finish it on this side. This is a little bit lower than when I did the initial discussion about it. When I pulled all this down, I accidentally pulled up this foundation, but this actually is a better location for it, being really, really close near the mesh. It's still above it, but it's so close that it will, if there were a build here, it would look really good. So the next thing I want to do is go ahead and place those and take these away. And then change this to a triangle. Get it to snap, and then you've got your perfectly centered hexagon. You could use a metal foundation here if you wanted to see that it's perfectly centered on it. And then you could build whatever you want here, or instead of building a hexagon, you could build a square, rectangle, or just build a wall that continues out. And it'd be at a 45-degree angle from the square building that you're building it off of. Okay, now I'm going to tear down a bit of this, not the whole thing, and show you how to rearrange it so that you can actually take this floor level that took so long to get and rearrange it so that it's on any square or any foundation within the build. So I'll show you how to do that. And what I do is normally I get back to this point and I set up that that one ceiling that's just a little bit higher than this base foundation, and I'll set it off to the side of my construction build, and I'll use that as a reference. So anytime I need to do another corner tower, I just take it off of that and go to where I need it built. But this is how you get there. And first thing I want to do is place foundations so that I can save the location of this initial foundation. So what we're going to do is we've got to go off of this original corner. So everything relies on this original corner. So I'm going to take away this original foundation. Notice because we have parts as foundations, they're not collapsing or anything, so we still have the build that we need. And I'm going to use the fence foundation again, only this time I'm going to use the alternate version of it, which is the fence support. And I'm going to just do another 45-degree angle from the original. So bring it back in line with the foundation that we took the original 45-degree off of. And also notice how it's centered on this corner where it all started. Okay, now I'm going to use a quarter wall, and it's got to be on the left-hand side here. This foundation doesn't have to be here at all. So I'm going to put that on. And when you first do this, at least it took me a while to figure it out, it looks like these are offset, and they wouldn't line up. So, and the whole reason that we use this fence support is to make sure our floor is that we're going to build is exactly the same level as this floor. Because if you tried to use a different type of foundation, it wouldn't, or if you use the alternate foundation, it wouldn't do that. So I'm going to place this quarter wall here and place my quarter wood ceiling, and I'll get it going there, and you can see it lines up perfectly. So it's exactly the same level, and that's really it. After this, it's just a matter of getting it, getting that one ceiling lined up with it. So let me go in here and find that. There it is. And I didn't have that in my initial list of items on the hotbar because I could have done this with a bunch of quarter ceilings. So now that this is completed, I can actually take this off someplace else and then save it. And now anytime I want to go to any part of my build and put a corner tower on any side, I just have to go off of this and bring it to that point, and then just go backwards or go in reverse to put it all back into place so it's rotated. So just going a little bit over this, what I just did really quick. Once you have a foundation placed, so let me put that in. All right, once you have your foundation placed, the initial one, you use a standard fence foundation at a 45-degree angle. And then you use a quarter wall at this end where the corner is. And then you can place your ceiling, a quarter ceiling. And that will complete what you want to do as far as the corner-centered tower. And then to extend this to any place else, all you've got to do is take away this foundation and use a fence support that's attached to this corner here at a 45-degree angle from where you had rotated it, and bring it right back, and then put another quarter wall back, and then now your floors will be exactly the same as that. And from here you can move this anywhere that you want in your build, and you're good. And the reason you do that again is because usually that's the longest part, is trying to find a place where you can put your initial starting foundation so that the level of the ceiling here is just barely above the foundation, which here was pretty easy, but in some places where you're building it's really flat, and it might take a while to get to that spot where it raises up just enough for you to be able to do your build. Okay, I hope you all enjoyed the video.